It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazaway. Let's talk some sports.
Hey, let's go. Thursday show, March 14th, 2024. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com, and the Fox Local app. If you are watching live, if you're watching on YouTube, you are getting a good look right now at something the guys in the back created. Noah, we have some very talented people in this building, and on the heels of Braylon Edwards, your nomination to the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame, he made this beautiful graphic, and I know you're humbled by all the support, Braylon Edwards. This is really, truly a humbling situation to be nominated for the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame, and over the last 24 hours, it's been a pretty cool thing. When you see stuff like this, you kind of look back at what you've meant to a lot of people in this state. And I think it's been a great thing. Good afternoon to you.
That's a hell of an introduction. I don't know how to follow that up, but I'd say thank you. And, yeah, it's been very humbling. The last couple of weeks have been humbling, from the whole situation at the Y to the respect that came with that to this. Now it's something that I wanted to do. I feel like I'm from the great state of Michigan, born and raised, played Little League here, high school, college, played in the NFL here, but not for this city. So it feels good to be a part of this. I'm finally in the state. My dad is a member of this already as well. So now once again I get a chance to join Pop's shoes. But it didn't realize and understand how much I love the state of Michigan and how much I love University of Michigan, just being from here. So I came back home. I think when I left, go to the NFL, college was over. Football for me was over. What I did at state was over. And, you retire. And then I came home in 2014. I came back home, and it was like people want to talk about Michigan. People want to talk about the Michigan State game. People want to talk about the 100th game, the Ohio State game. People wanted to talk about a lot of things that I thought were over and didn't matter. So I appreciate it. I'm humble, but I'm tired of talking about myself. Damn, it's 3 weeks in a row, man. Let's talk about the Detroit Lions.
Let Tom Mazaway talk about you for a minute. Good afternoon to you, Tom.
Hey, fellas, that is a work of art.
Thank you, Noah.
Up there.
And Pete Spivak for the idea. Appreciate
Absolutely.
you,
Good job, Spivak.
I can't wait to show Larry Foote Sr. the picture.
He's a hater. He's been a hater my whole life.
Now, Larry Foote Jr.'s on the ballot
He
as well,
is.
correct?
That's my guy. Me and Larry Foote Jr. have always been boys.
That's been my guy, too.
Exactly.
I love Larry Foote.
Exactly. You got
my man, Senior.
You, Foote, Marquise, and DT.
Senior's got an axe to grind.
Anthony Thomas.
A lot of Hennessy flowing that conversation.
Senior's got an axe to grind with you. He likes you, though. He does.
I know, but
What's his problem with you?
I've done nothing wrong, man. He's he's one of the old school guys in the city. They just always were mad.
Just so you know, I bowl with Larry Foote Sr. I love him.
Hater.
Great guy, fun guy. We play poker, so playing during bowling. If you get a strike, you pick a card up, right? You can't have more than 5 cards in your hand.
No.
He just sits in the back. He don't sit with us.
Yeah, it's called cheating.
He sits in the back. He gets his wings. He eats his wings in the back, washes his hands, comes back and bowls. So every time you get a double or you make a split, you get 2 cards. So we find him. We're like, he gets the cards, but he's not discarding anything. He's got 7, 8 cards in his hand at one point. Man. We have to call him on it half the time.
Oh, my gosh.
No, it's for fun, man. We don't care. We
it's
bust
funny.
his chops.
It's like when you play cards on the airplanes. You know what I'm saying? We're coming on a road trip. We're on the airplane, and you play. Boo Ray was the game. I can tell you stories about Boo Ray. A little bit of poker, but more so Boo Ray. Boo Ray was kind of it was 5-card stud mixed with what's the I Declare War. It's 5-card stud mixed with I Declare War. But anyway, it's 2 seats. It's this row, and it's seated here. It's a corner. Always a cheater that will find the row over here. He sits like this, and he shuffles over here and deals out. And you're looking behind him why do I see bicycle cards? Anyway, so there's always a cheater.
It's funny you mentioned Larry Foote, though. Isn't it funny? And I feel like
I got a funny Larry Foote story.
I'm that guy right now, too. By the way, haircut day today. Thank you, Becca.
I look
good today, and I don't care what anybody says.
Own it.
I look good today, and I feel good today. Thank you, Becca.
As you should.
But something about generation guys, old school guys don't like us. We don't like young. You know what I mean?
It's a trickle down.
There is a trickle down. You're like, what's Larry Foote Sr.'s problem with me? He don't like me. He's an old school guy. Like,
because I'm bigger than Foote.
But I mean, I'm sure there's something to that. But and I know we're just playing around a lot, but I feel like that too. But I'm always talking about these kids out here.
Right.
These kids don't understand what we've been through in our lives.
And how many guys before that you were mentored by kind of like crapped on you?
Right,
exactly.
They did.
100%.
Like, even like when I was back in college at the fraternity house, my Hell Week was not what the older guys' Hell Week was.
Yeah.
Conversely, these kids today, I don't even know why you call it Hell Week.
It's not Hell Week. It's Heaven Week.
Heaven Week.
Yeah.
That's
like DT. DT be hating on me.
But like, I mean, it's right. DT's hating on you. I mean, like, I don't know what it is. What is it about generations?
Who knows, man?
Is it the
I
Camels
crap
are
on my
coming
kids.
syndrome?
The music they listen to. The other night, I watched the greatest night in pop.
Yeah, about We Are the World.
It's about We Are the World.
It's a phenomenal.
So I had Lily
Excellent
sit down
watch.
and watch it with me, and she was fascinated by it. And when it's all said and done, I said, Lil, now you know why I don't count what you listen to as music. And she's like, Dad, don't go there. People fight over music.
Yeah.
Constantly. And
Dancing,
I'll put
music,
Michael Jackson, to me, is
And you
the
get somebody
greatest.
from the younger generation to tell you Chris Brown and will fight you tooth and nail.
I know, I understand that. But I'm right.
About some things.
The Beatles. Come on.
But like Michael Jackson can sing better than
The Bee
Chris Brown,
Gees?
but Chris Brown can dance better. Like at the
No,
end
he
of the-
can't dance better than Michael Jackson.
Don't get me started.
Don't even go there.
At the end of the day,
Don't even go there.
At the end of the day, each dancer at their respective times was able to do everything
Okay.
and more. When Mike was on top, he could do all the dances out and
He's
even
the
more. That day is past. It's Chris Brown's
Greatest performer in the history of music.
Chris Brown.
Now, Mike, put your mic on, because Mike is a music guy. He don't even like sports. He's a music guy.
I know one thing. He's going to tell me I'm right.
So go ahead, Mike. Tell me, Michael Jackson or Chris Brown?
Better singer, Michael Jackson. Better dancer, Chris Brown.
I respect the talking point. I respect the sentiment, but I'm going to have to go with Mike.
There you
Mike,
go.
better dancer?
Everything.
Mike was the influence
Well, I
for
said
Chris.
better singer for sure. It's not even close.
Mike was the influence for Chris.
This is true, but there was an influence from Michael Jackson. It was Fred Astaire. It was James Brown. Is James Brown better than Michael Jackson?
No.
Hell no. Okay, the next man that saw what he saw,
gotcha.
he honed it, he moved on.
And I tell you,
Everybody borrows from
Oh,
somebody.
there's nobody better than
Lionel Richie, phenomenal.
They
He's
wrote
great.
that song
Phenomenal.
in the bathroom in
I know, it's
8
amazing.
hours.
Amazing.
Michael Jackson wrote that song too, by the way.
Amazing.
Can I just say this too? Well, Lionel Richie is my guy number
He's
one.
great.
But when you're talking about dancers, where do you put? And feel free to weigh in on this, Mike. I'll just be honest. I'm not a big halftime show guy with him, but you got to put Usher up there when it comes to dancing.
Yeah, Usher's super dope, but the two we're talking about, like,
he don't
they're
Usher
like,
and Chris Brown.
He's
but-
in the minor
but
leagues.
what I'm
Usher's in the minor leagues.
Minor
when it comes to
leagues.
Usher and Chris
listen,
Brown.
Yes.
I love the Usher love. I love that you give Usher some love. He deserves some love. But he's not in that category. Usher,
He's all over.
I'm explaining to you this way.
He's 3 steps down.
Chris Brown and Michael Jackson are the people that are teaching the class. Like, they have the choreographer ability and they have the creative ability themselves. Like, Usher is a guy that's learning.
Okay.
Like, Usher, you always got a choreographer somewhere that help Usher out. Usher can learn any move, but you need somebody to teach him. Chris Brown is creating the moves, and so is Michael Jackson.
Hey, look,
Mike-
say what you want about Michael Jackson, but it's Mike drop. He is number one, and no one is
I love
close.
Mike.
Mikey, where are you on the Usher situation?
I'm going to have to agree with Braylon.
Okay, I'm
appreciate
out of
that.
pocket on that
Finally,
one.
we won out of 3. You didn't agree on the chicken, and you didn't disagree with Mike, so we won out of 3.
Fair enough. Bowling tonight, man?
Hell yeah.
Do you expect any? Do you
Hold
expect?
on. You got to start here, Ryan Ermanni. His team is now 1 point back for the lead.
But what does
That's
this
it.
mean? Because every week we talk about bowling,
Well, they were
Max is walking out with no money. The envelope is getting.
I'm down. I got my last $100 bill in my pocket right now.
And
My
it's
last
tonight the
100.
last
So
night?
you'll put.
No, I got another 4 weeks to go.
You'll put the
25 a
100.
night.
You'll put the 100 in tonight.
Well, I'll have to pay for bowling, and I'll pay for some of the
Okay,
pots.
now how much is that cost?
By
you?
the time I'm all said and done, I'm probably $70 in.
Okay, $70 in.
Yeah.
You got $30 to eat. Okay, $70 to play.
Hey, but the one thing
$30
about
to eat.
hold on, but the one thing about it, at the bowling alley is still very cheap.
No
They still-
anymore.
They still have good food. They got
They
cheap,
do.
They got cheap drinks.
Good
Inflation
food.
is
You don't drink.
I don't
compounding, by the
drink.
way.
I have a Coke and I nurse it all night. I get a couple of refills.
With a lemon.
That's it.
You can get a
With a
double
lemon.
You can get a double Tito's and lemonade for the same thing you can get a
I
Coke
don't
for.
like it, man.
Hey, I'm just saying.
But, okay, so Maz, talk to me about tonight. We're expecting some 3-baggers.
Listen. I got back-to-back high 600 series. I'm going for a 700 tonight. 700 plus.
Now, if you get a 700, what does that mean? Do you
This
win
means it's
money?
pride to me,
Pride.
and maybe my team
Pride
will win.
doesn't pay your bills.
I know, but I want my team to win.
Yeah.
Now, if you win, do you win money?
Yes.
Pride comes
yes.
from
Okay.
Yes.
Now, what are we talking?
I'm not exactly sure, but it'll probably be close to, almost
Maz is gonna
1,000 a
have a
man.
big night.
1,000 a man.
Yeah,
Okay,
1,000 a
that'll
man.
refill the envelope.
That'll refill the
That'll
envelope.
let you play next season.
Correct. Guess when the last night is?
Draft night.
Yes.
Hey, I'm gonna
Stop it.
Listen.
I swear to God.
Now, can we move this?
I begged them at the beginning of the year, please let us not bowl on April 25th. Please, guys. Please. I got outvoted.
You got outvoted. So what is that going to mean? You're not obviously in on draft night.
I'm going to be with you guys.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Even if it
Who is
means
you
1,000
guys?
ahead.
I want to be there.
Right.
But how can I not be at the draft?
two things. One, who is you guys? Because we don't pick the 29. Like, I'm not staying up till 1 in the morning trying to see who the hell Detroit Lions are
We
drafting.
need you there, man.
We'll figure this out.
All right.
We'll figure this
We'll
out.
figure it out.
No, I'm joking. But second thing I want to say, Maz, you're due to win big. You're due to
I
win
hope
big.
so,
You
man.
and I had the conversation in back, like Ryan, like Maz is like the best father, man, there is. So there's one daughter that did not get a chance to go to Florida during the spring
Man.
break or doing anything else. So what Maz does, Maz says, you know what? I'm gonna take some days off of work. You know how much he took some days off of
God
work,
bless
taking
you.
it down there. They're gonna hang out at his sister's condo in Fort
Get outta
Lauderdale.
here.
Like
When are you doing that?
Like the March 31st.
You're
that
a great
week.
person.
Like Maz is just the best, man. That's what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
got something coming your way, man. I'm telling you.
I
One
hope
of
so,
these-
man.
This Thursday and next Thursday.
Well,
you
that's
gonna win
Easter
big.
Day. I'll be doing it. We're not leaving until 9 o'clock at night, so I got all Easter Day with the family.
Telling
Okay.
you.
So
Big day coming for Maz.
I hope so, man.
Hoofhearted
Thanks.
says, how the F do you bowl without drinking?
I don't drink.
You
I'm
don't
sorry,
drink.
Oof.
Maz is not a drinker.
I don't drink. I never drank.
Joe Wood says, Bray, don't ever put no Chris Brown in Michael Jackson category.
Woo!
Ain't you a M guy? That's
Woo-hoo!
Michigan guy. I can't see your intelligence when you make statements like that.
Look at Mike.
Ain't no Chris Brown in
Woo!
the category
Yes!
with Mike.
I love it. At the end of the day, it's all about transcending. It's all about what happened. What happened before that? Everybody said Fred Astaire was the best dancer ever. Then it was James Brown. Then Mike took both their stuff, made it better, and then created some of his own. Chris Brown has done the same. Mike didn't get a chance to live till Chris Brown's age. He died filming This Is It. So all we got was 51 years of Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
But now Chris Brown is up, and he's done everything that Michael Jackson has done dance-wise and more. He's learned from the crumping and this era of music and, I mean, the different things they do dance-wise.
He's very
So I
talented.
don't make
Very
the statement
talented.
to say something crazy. It's just about evolvement.
I know.
Look at sports. Sports evolve the same way. There's not... Will Chamberlain ain't the best player of all time.
Yeah, he
Neither is
is.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Neither is Michael Jordan at this point. He is, but... At the same time, all I said was he dancing.
We all have our favorites.
Singing wise, I still said it's nothing compared to Mike singing wise in that conversation.
Now, will you get any mystery balls tonight?
I hope.
What happens when you get the mystery balls?
It's a couple $100
Depends
bucks.
on what's in there.
Couple $100, like $230. But if you hit the big one, the one that what do they call it? Progressive. If you don't call the exact number, it goes to the next week. So it doubles, then it triples, and blah, blah, blah.
Man.
Some guy walked away with almost $2,000 a couple of weeks ago.
God bless him.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And you'll do this bowling night on Thursday concurrently with the Drew and Mike appearance.
They call me while I'm on the lanes, of course. They insist on calling
What
me.
if you're in the middle of a 4-bagger?
I tell them to hold on. I put it down, and I put it on speaker, and I bowl, and they just talk about me.
Feel bad for Maz, man. He's fighting at every turn.
Every turn.
It's so
He's
great.
fighting at every turn.
Then I got to go home.
Yeah, that's the real fight.
Oh my gosh. That is so great. Guys, great show for you today. Ari Meirov will join us. He covers the NFL for the 33rd team on X at My Sports Update. Great NFL feed there. We love Ari. He's going to break down everything around the NFL for us. We'll get his take on our guys.
Steve Wilds in chat says DJ Reader has left the building.
Which is
I don't know if that's true, but I'm just
we gotta
reading what he
confirm
said.
that. We got to confirm that.
Yeah.
I will say Michigan State, by the way, in action just final as we went on air here live. They have beaten Minnesota 77-67, so Tom Izzo does get a win in the Big Ten tournament. This pretty much solidifies them in a slot to make the NCAA tournament. Michigan loses last night.
As we told you.
As we told you. By the way, 2-0 in our locks last night.
You gave the
won
Pistons.
as well.
Yep, Pistons won
Look at
as
you
well. But look, and I don't need to spend a ton of time on this, but there is no decision to be made. I put a post out last night on X during the game.
Sounded like exactly what I told you.
It is but there is no decision to be. But I mean, there's no other way to look at it.
Plagiarism.
But there's no other way to look at it. Look, Michigan was a top 10 program in college basketball, maybe even a top 6 program in college basketball. Yeah. That's who he took over. Did you say that too, Maz?
I did.
Oh, you did?
I said they were on fire and he burned them down.
On fire. Okay, okay, just making sure.
My bad.
Okay, thanks.
You could put a number in there.
But you're a top 10, top 6 program in college basketball when you took over. The house, as Matt said, has essentially burned down.
Agreed.
He has never been the same coach since the situation in Wisconsin. The health situation aside, Juwan Howard, and we hope 110% that part of it is on the up and up. But there's no decision to be made. And I don't know when it's going to happen, how long it's going to happen. But I'm at the point now where I'm not even expecting a firing. I would not be shocked if there was a contract extension. There's not even a maze rage anymore at home games. There is no more maze rage at home games. All the old people are back sitting in the student seats. That is, you talk about Chrysler Arena like not having life anymore. Right. And Chrysler Arena didn't have life because all of the old people sat in the lower bowl. Mm-hmm. When John Beilein was there and into the Juwan Howard era, when Juwan Howard took over, all of the students were down there wearing their yellow shirts, their maze shirts, called them the Maze Rage. For over a decade, you had the Maze Rage. You don't even have that anymore. All of the old people are back in those seats. So it's time. It's unfortunate, but it's time to move on. It's really simple. Your take, Braylon Edwards.
We said the same thing. You know, we 100% we agree. At the end of the day, shoot, it's one of those situations where it's hard finding coaches in college basketball. Now, college basketball, much like college football, even worse, in even worse shape. So I think it's tough to get a coach. And I think that wirely is the big thing the Ward Manual and the athletic department is trying to deal with. Who wants to come in and fix this? I mean, this is a mess. Ryan Ermanni, it's one of those situations where I think it's going to take them a second to even find a willing suitor. So, you know, maybe he does get extended another season. You broke it, you buy it. And I think that's what they're going to do with Juwan Howard. It's up to you for at least another year while we can try to make some decisions and see what else is out there. This is a tough landscape now. College basketball, I mean, Tom Izzo is the last remaining, much like Jim Harbaugh and Nick Saban last season. Tom Izzo was it. There's no more iconic coaches, and there's no more.
Coach K gone. Jim Boeheim gone.
Roy Williams gone.
Do you see Kansas lost?
Jay Wright gone. Yeah, but none of those players played. Like Dickinson was out. One of their other best players.
Their last
was
two
out.
games, they lost by a combined 50 points.
Yeah, Dickinson got hurt.
Just
and another player was out. But
not very good.
They'll be back for the playoffs. But you have basically in college basketball, you have Tom Izzo right now and Kansas, Bill Self,
and Rick Pitino's back with St. John's,
and Gonzaga. And the coach
Mark Few.
You still have him.
But Ricky Pitino has put St. John's back on the map, guys. That's going to be a great story to follow. Watch that.
It will be a great story. The only thing about it is some of the luster in that story gets taken out of it because of how bad college basketball is. Pitino is one of the old school coaches. He gets it. 4-year play right now is how you get better in basketball. 4-year play is how you win, getting guys to stay because there are no more superstars, if you will, in the collegiate ranks. So you get guys to buy into it. Hey, this is a big program. You get to play at Madison Square Garden where the Knicks play. Maybe you get some kids to go there and you get them to stay for 1, 2, 3, 4 years. You can actually win. That's the way you win now. You got to have 4-year squads.
That's what Greg Campy put together at Oakland. That's why this year,
Watch out for Oakland.
Oakland U can make some noise, guys. If they watch out for them,
you just got to win the first game.
Yep, they get a good matchup. If they win that game, look out.
You just
could be another St. Peter's.
Absolutely could. Speaking of the Lions, news today, and I think this is really expected news, I would think, and it's really the first signing that they had, and that is that they have re-signed Brad Holmes as general manager and Dan Campbell as your head coach. These two men get extensions through 2027. That is what their contract details are so far. You know,
Nice.
it's not released by the team or anything like that.
They're happy, so we're happy.
Exactly. You don't really understand or need to know how much money they're making. I'm sure they're both well taken care of. I'm sure Dan Campbell is making more than $4 million right now, especially with some of the numbers that are being thrown around to college coaches, you know, 10 million, 12 million, depending upon which college coach you're getting. But, Bray, this is a no-brainer. This had to be done. And
Chris Spielman, too.
It looks like the Lions will be having that solidified front office and head coaching staff for years to come.
You know, the thing I like about this, Ryan, is one, it's giving them the credit they deserve. Look, they've been here 3 years. They told us to be a 3-year plan, and in 3 years they got to the NFC Championship and they won the division. So hats off to them. What they said was going to have it happen. Excuse me. With that being said, you don't want to extend them too long. Like, at the end of the day, the business of sports is the business of year by year. It's what happens last year doesn't have to happen next year or same. So I like that it's till 27. It's not one of these deals where it's to 2030. Dang, 2030 is coming like that.
I'm telling you, man.
Like, that just sounded wild. But anyway, it's not one of these deals to 2030 where you're giving them 6-7 extra years or just, hey, you know, we believe in you this much. No, we got to make sure that it stays like you've been doing it. 3 extra years, it's perfect. I like
no
it.
doubt. And, you know, when it comes to these two men, too, look, they've solidified this organization. They have given this organization stability unlike anything we've ever seen before. And I think when they came in, there was a little bit of a, you know, can they work together, because they hired the head coach before they hired the general manager, but isn't the general manager the head coach's boss? How is this going to work? What is this going to look like? But these two men have come together, not only those two, but their staffs, Chris Spielman as well, Rod Wood, Sheila Hamp. It just really works. And I think when you look around the NFL, you know, you look at the mess in Dallas. You look at instability everywhere, you know, in Philadelphia. Maybe with the Giants, quarterback problems. You don't know what's going on in Tampa Bay. Do they like their head coach? Do they not like their head coach? The general manager, Matt Light or whatever his name is. You know, I mean, there's so much unrest and uncertainty amidst big-time organizations in the NFL. Who would have thunk that the Detroit Lions would be one of the preeminent organizations when it comes to ownership, president, advisor, general manager, head coach? Who would have even thunk it?
Nobody. It's like an upside down world now, and I'll take it. It's been too long, man. It's been way too long, and now this is the world I want to live in with the Lions on the upswing.
No doubt about it, guys. And not only that, but players want to play here as well. Graham Glasgow spoke to the media yesterday, and so did Carlton Davis. But one of the things that Graham Glasgow talked about was, you know, his contract. And he didn't want this to be dragged out. He didn't want just a bunch of teams to get in on this and you try to get the most money, because this is where he wanted to be. He wanted his agent to make a point of it. He walked down the path of how the contract negotiation went.
Everything was perfect. Everything worked out exactly how I liked and how I wanted.
Sort of the same thing. You know, first time you went through this, obviously, it was a different sort of mindset in terms of bringing you back. This year, you made it clear you wanted to be back. And I don't know, were there ever any nervous moments, though, as it got to free agency? Did you always think this was going to get done?
I mean, like, I talked to my agent, I think, the night before, like, the tampering period went about, and I mean, there's always, you know, you can always see that there's some interest from other teams, and even if you're not talking about money. And he told me, like, what they had kind of offered, and I said I didn't even really want to, like, really wait and use, like, other teams' offers to maybe go back and try and get more money. I just kind of wanted to get it done and have it be done, and that was kind of how it worked.
You know, I've always loved about the offensive lineman in terms of as it relates to renegotiating, as it relates to free agency, as it relates to even being a rookie and signing that first deal. Offensive linemen, and I don't want to say it this way,
They're different guys.
They're very complex. They're very intelligent. So don't get me. They're very simple. The offensive line is simple. Like, they're not out here sitting here trying to break the bank. Like, they're not out here trying to think about in the future buying this house or that or this community or this Lamborghini Ferrari or what I'm gonna do in crypto and Bitcoin and blah. And linemen are like, look, just give me what I deserve. Give me what is fair. I'm trying to get on this field and I'm trying to keep this thing going. Like, I've always respected that about linemen. It's not the same, but I always respect about linemen. But going to the Lions, at the end of the day, he's happy here. He's from Michigan, went to Michigan, he went out to Denver, he came back here, he saw what the Lions were last year, he saw what this identity and what this culture is. Like, he's like, why do we need to leverage another team? I know what I want to be. I want to be here with Dan Campbell. I want to be here with Brad Holmes. I want to be here with this team that I started working with and building with last season. Like, but that is what happens when you build the thing the right way up.
And, you know, something about simplicity of offensive linemen. Listen to what he said about the O-line room.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Like,
this is fun.
This is great, too, because it just feels like Graham Glasgow is a guy you want to go have a beer with. Yeah. Right? I mean, here's what he had to say.
You know, I'm a big fan of levity. I think that it's not about, like, always being, like, super serious all the time. And I feel like, you know, if you watch Panay before games, I feel like Panay's always locked in. He's always ready to go. He's always ready, you know, doing his thing. And I feel like sometimes it's nice just to have a little bit of just be able to joke around a little bit. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm funny. Maybe I'm nice to the guys. I'm not sure. But, at the end of the day, I think that just everybody in that O-line room is, like, just good dudes. They're great to be around, and I think that we have a good thing going on.
Simple.
The Lions are providing the blueprint in a locker room. Like, the Lions are providing the blueprint on what it takes to want guys to buy in, want guys to want to come, want guys to want to stay. Pause. I mean, you look at a room like the offensive line room, those guys are always together. They fish together, they hunt together, they kick it, they chill, they drink beers. Their sons go to the same schools, same little league team. Like, linemen are always together, but I think you're seeing that in every position with the Detroit Lions, man. When you get like that, guys that take less to stay. Guys will also look and say, look, man, I'm not trying to do this. I'm just trying to be here. Like, if you continue that, like, that's how you continue success. That's how the Steelers were built. That's how the Ravens were built. That's how the teams that had longevity, long-standing for years and years, the Packers, if you will. They had locker rooms that you wanted to be a part of, and the next generation just kept passing it down. It's the next 5-year plan. Those guys pass it down to the next 5-year plan. That's what it feels like, in my estimation, the Detroit Lions are building now with Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, expected to be joined by our good friend Ari Meirov, who covers the NFL for the 33rd team. Get his take on the free agents and trades that the Lions have made so far, and, of course, look around the league to see what he believes are the big splashes and who else is out there right now. We'll get Ari's take on all that. We'll do that next. But, Pete, what do we have here?
Wake up, Woodward! Woodward Sports has a new morning show. Start your day with Wake Up Woodward Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. live right here on Woodward Sports. Join Kool-Aid, Flannel Sam, Broder, JB, and KG every morning as they cover all of Detroit's sports talk, banter, and live fan interaction. All right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports, baby.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for two things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party, it's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hey guys, check out Jack Labrador. Check him out right now. Hit that QR code. It'll tell you how to play this great game. It's taken over for rock, paper, scissors. It's Jack Labrador. JackLabrador.gg on the web as well. 2 new symbols and a franchise-changing 3-point play to add to rock, paper, scissors. This $20 deck of cards. They call it the Champions Deck. It comes with a chip and a deck of cards as well. 3 other games you can play. Motor City Showdown, Spell My Name, and Pink Slip. All right here at jacklabrador.gg. You can bring it with you and head over to Big Boy. Big Boy don't mind if you bring Jack Labrador in. Head over to Big Boy right now for the Seafood Fest. Dive into the fish and chips, the new Parmesan-crusted cod, and the perfectly fried clam strip platter. Check out the fish sandwich as well, a Big Boy must. It is the new mango iced tea. It goes great with the shrimp stir-fry, the shrimp Alfredo, and, of course, the shrimp popcorn shrimp. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy. And don't forget, every Friday night, it is an all-you-can-eat fish fry buffet at Big Boy.
I mean, yeah, that was another part of why I kind of wanted to come back. I mean, I feel like when you have a really, really good season with a good team and then things don't end the way that you want them to go, I feel like you'd like to come back. You want to come back. You want to try and get another crack at it.
The screens are not working, he's like.
You know, I play video games. You don't want to end on a loss, right? You want to try and end on a win. So I feel like coming back here and being able to do that and having an opportunity to come back and have another crack at it is really good.
That was Graham Glasgow talking about, losing in the NFC Championship last year and the motivation that gives you, to want to come back to that situation and see if you can get to one more game next year, one more win next year, maybe 2 more wins, obviously, is what you want to do to finish the job. But, Braylon, you were in that situation for the Jets. When you lose conference championship game, the motivation that gives you to do maybe one more workout, one more rep, one more gasser, whatever the case may be. There is a motivation in doing that.
Yeah, it was crazy. You talk about 2009 season. We barely snuck into the playoffs and we made it all the way to the AFC Championship. And to be honest, Ryan, we should have won that game. We were winning at halftime. We kind of flubbed it up in terms of what our coordinators were doing. But that offseason, you're like, we snuck into the playoffs. And we got to the AFC Championship. Let's add a couple pieces. Let's add a Jason Taylor for the Miami Dolphins. Let's add LaDainian Tomlinson. Let's add Antonio Cromartie. And when we added those players, we still had the same core guys that had gone the year before, Ryan. We still had the same core guys that remember what it felt like to lose to the Colts in Indianapolis and Lucas Field, remembers what it took, remembers those reps in 2009, 2010 that you may have said, you know what, I don't need that extra rep on this gasher. I don't need this extra rep in the weight room, And so now the next year you add these pieces and you add this offseason and you guys are letting them know what it felt last year to come up short. And when you're doing OTAs, when you're doing training, when you're doing minicamp, like you said, you're getting that extra rep, you're getting that extra set, you're getting that extra hour of film studying. You're flying down to wherever your teammates are so you guys can work out together and keep that bond going because you know where you were and you know how close it was and what it felt like. So you're trying to get back there, but you keep that chip on your shoulder and you just keep giving extra. You give a little bit extra because you're like, if we got this far this year, and I know I wasn't at my best, or I know I didn't do everything in my power, I didn't study as much as I could have. I'm doing everything and more this offseason. I think that's what you're going to see. But that's what Graham Glasgow is talking about.
And, I do believe in momentum in the NFL. I think the way the Lions ended 2022, going 8-2 in those final 10 games, gave them absolutely momentum to head into the offseason. And I think having Kansas City on their schedule in the opener really gave them a little bit of added motivation, knowing that they were, okay, they finished the season 8-2, and it propels you into your workouts. And now you've got the Super Bowl champion Chiefs to open up the NFL season. That gives you a lot of motivation to get through the day. Conversely, this year now, after a loss, you don't care who's showing up in week 1. You are that team now. Yeah, you're not the Super Bowl champs, but you are one of the top 4 dogs in the entire league. And everybody's going to be gunning for you because they want to be where you were a year ago.
Yeah, this is true. And that's where you got to continue to progress like you did the year before. That same thing happened to us, Ryan. So in 2009, we make it to the AFC Championship, which would have been 2010 playoffs. Then 2010 season, we're coming into that season. We're thinking about the same. We're like, all right, you know what? Well, yeah, we saw what we got. Like, we're those dudes. We're those guys. We started off the season on Monday Night Football, Ryan. We said, we were those guys. We know what we're going to do. We're going to put forth everything into it. We start off against the Baltimore Ravens, man, and it was built as Rex Ryan against his former team, the Ravens, and defensive coordinator, and where the Jets, the game was in New York. We lost.
Right.
We lost 10-9 or 10-6, one of those dumb scores. We didn't score any points because we thought just because we had been there, just because we had all that, just because we added some pieces, we were going to take that next step. And you still got to fight. But you know why? It's because this year, Ryan, teams know about you. That's the difference. Last year, people were like, all right, well, Detroit, they finished 9-8. We'll see. Well, Detroit embarrassed everybody that thought that. This year, there's no thinking. Teams are extra preparing. Detroit is on a short list of teams that the other teams are extra preparing for, talking about, like, this is their system. This is how Ben Johnson calls his offensive plays. This is how hard they play on defense. So teams are going to come with it. That's one thing you got to know from the word go. The first game of the year, teams are going to come with it. They're going to bring extra energy, extra toughness, extra everything. You got to know.
I'm glad you said that because Carlton Davis, and it's Carlton Davis III. I do you call him CD3?
CD3.
At his introductory press conference yesterday, one of the things that he talked about was, he had firsthand knowledge of what it's like to play in Detroit, in the playoffs, against the Lions, against these players, against this coach, against this team. Here's what he had to say, talking about playing the Lions in the playoffs.
And I was talking to somebody earlier about that, how resilient that group was, and just the fight and the dog they had. The culture here is good, because usually, when you're in a tough battle, a team at some point budges. There's 2 teams competing really hard. And they never budged. Like, they kept the same energy, played with that same physicality, and just was bringing it every play. So just being an opponent, you recognize things like that. You respect those qualities in a team for sure.
That was the Lions' new defensive back, Carlton Davis III, whom they traded for a 3rd-round pick. In this year's draft,
number 92,
to the Tampa Bay Bucks. So he said, "Hey, I'm a CB1. I'm a CB1." You'll hear that in just a little bit. But we do have our good friend Ari Meirov on the phone right now. You see his stuff on X at My Sports Update. The 33rd team as well covers the NFL for them. Ari, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. This week has been a crazy one, like it is every year. And like I say every year, this is my regular season. So it's a lot of roster shuffling going on, but I enjoy it every year. A lot of guys getting paid.
Lots of people getting paid. And Ari, obviously here in Detroit, I think there's some fans out there that would love to see a big splash. We have not seen a big splash. It doesn't feel like a Brad Holmes kind of thing to do, but we do see, Carlton Davis III from Tampa Bay. You do see an Amik Robertson from the Las Vegas Raiders. These guys could have an impact. What do you make of what the Lions have done so far in free agency?
Yeah, I think they've been making, safe moves and moves that aren't necessarily going to screw them over in the future. And probably the best example to give is Buffalo. When they made the AFC Championship game and then lost to Kansas City, they decided, screw it, we're going to go for it. and they added a bunch of players. They signed Von Miller to that big, huge contract, and essentially now you saw this offseason how they had to release so many players and how they were so over the cap. So I feel like Brad Holmes realized that, hey, we're going in the right direction. We just made it to the NFC Championship. We have a really good roster, a lot of core players. Some guys we're going to have to pay here very soon, but we're not going to be overly aggressive to a point where in a couple of years this could come back to bite us, and it can be very difficult. So I think that's the vantage point that he took into all of this so far. He's not going to overpay. He's not going to do some sort of contract that could eventually become an issue down the road. And like we've spoken about in the past, there's a lot of guys here who have to get paid from your own roster. And teams budget, 2-3 years out, thinking about those big contracts that are coming up from Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Jared Goff, and on and on. So I won't say that I'm that surprised. I was curious going in if they would make a splash, but it sounds like up until now they're going to stay put and try to get guys who are going to help right now and not hurt in the future either.
My favorite NFL and sports analyst, Ari Meirov. How you doing, buddy? Actually, happy Pi Day, 3.14. There you go.
There we go.
Throw that out there for you. Hey, look, enough of that. We know what it is. I agree with you 100%. We know that he's not going to pay anybody but his guys. The splashes that they'll make, there'll be Aiden Hutchinson, there'll be Penei Sewell, there'll be Amon-Ra, St. Brown. That's what you know he's going to do. We know that. But do you agree with that? You look at how close they got this past year. NFC Championship game, and you can argue they were 7 minutes away if they would have got a pass rush or if they would have made the right calls in that game. Let me not hash that up for Detroit Lions fans out there, but they didn't make that move like Montez Sweat. They didn't make the Chase Young move at the free agent deadline, and that could have cost them in the playoffs. Now it seems essentially they're not doing the same thing. Do you buy that? Do you agree with how Brad Holmes is running this ship, or do you think they need to maybe get an Eric Armstead? They need to maybe get that one more player that cost a little bit more but could fit in and help this team get over the hump right away?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, the offseason just started, right? There's 5 months into this offseason. And I know that there is a pretty big name in your building actually right now in DJ Reader, and it wouldn't surprise me if he's someone who could eventually sign in Detroit. I know there's interest on both sides. I think contract is a decent contract. That could be another player who could come in. So those type of players where they're value signings and it's guys who could affect the defensive line, for example, like a Reader, maybe an Armstead if it's not a Reader. I think those type of players make sense, but it just doesn't feel like he was willing to go to try to pay, let's just say, the Brian Burns trade, even though it was a 2 and a 5, that's $30 million per year, or Bryce Huff at $17 a year, or Danielle Hunter at $25 a year. I think that's just too rich for him, and that's not what Brad Holmes is looking to do. He's kind of looking through that second wave of free agents where there's still a bunch of really good guys out there. And again, I mentioned a couple of names. There's still a bunch of guys who are still free agents. There's still a bunch of guys who could still get cut. And there's some players teams are going to eventually look to trade, especially as we get closer to the draft, when teams figure out their boards and realize, all right, we might draft this guy. That means this guy becomes expendable. And there's some value there as well. So, again, we're just a few days into this free agency. Let the entire offseason play out. I think most of us, including all of you, have gotten to a point where I don't think it's right to doubt Brad Holmes after the work that he's done so far.
That's a fact, man. I know I'm one of those kind of fans that want a big splash, but you know what? When it comes in hindsight, I know the guy knows what he's doing. I mean, look what he's taken and look what he's done with this team. I want to ask you about who do you think has really improved their lot, who hasn't, and I want to ask you about what the Giants are trying to do. Is Danny Jones, is he really going to be let go? Are they moving up in the draft? Who's going to quarterback for the Giants? The Jets got questions. The Bears got questions. They hold the whole draft in their hands yet. Fill us in, Ari. What are you hearing?
Yeah, so Daniel Jones with the Giants, he has over $35 million fully guaranteed this year. So, and he's coming off an ACL injury. So there is no moving off of him. They signed Drew Lock to be the backup there. I know the Giants have done their homework on the quarterbacks in this draft. They're picking at number 6. But I kind of have a feeling that they are ready to move forward with Daniel Jones for one more year and see what he's got. There's still a lot of holes on that roster. They made the big Brian Burns trade, but they need help at receiver. They could use there's still question marks about if Darren Waller is going to come back. He might retire. So there's still a lot of questions there, but Daniel Jones is there for, at the very least, for one more year because of his contract. As for the Bears, I think the Justin Fields thing is one of the most interesting things going on in the NFL right now. Going into the offseason, we all thought, oh, yeah, they'll get a second-round pick for him. And now you look around, it's like, I don't even know where he fits. Atlanta got Kirk Cousins, Minshew of Vegas, Steelers got Russell Wilson, Sam Darnold to Minnesota. The one team I am watching that could be sneaky is probably Seattle with the Seahawks, where they have Geno Smith, but it's a new offensive staff, a new head coach. They haven't really fully committed to him, and his contract is essentially a high upside backup type of contract if you look at the numbers. So I think that's an interesting situation. They just saw Drew Lock, like I said, go to the Giants. They need another quarterback. Historically, the Seahawks are all about competition. So that is a team that could make sense to me. But after that, it's really hard to find a place for him because, like everyone knows by now, Chicago is planning to take Caleb Williams at number one, which means what do you do with Justin Fields? And I think there's some team who could probably get Justin Fields for far better value than we thought they would be able to get him when the offseason started.
How about keeping it in the NFC North? How about all of these teams switching players? I mean, it really is hard to even keep up. Who do you think improved their lot the most in the NFC North?
Yeah, I mean, I think Minnesota is going to have a hard time figuring this situation out. I mean, I don't want to call it a reset, but the quarterback position will be very interesting for them. $10 million guaranteed for Sam Darnold. We'll see how that goes and what they do in the draft. But, I think Detroit is just slowly but surely continuing to build up their roster and continue to stay steady. Like, they haven't lost anything so significant to me. They continue to add some more players, some more depth players, some more guys who could, create problems for other teams. The one team that I am watching for is the team that we just mentioned. I mean, Chicago is building a very strong roster all around. They have, players on every level. If you look at that defense from the defensive line, they traded for Montez Sweat. Last year they added Tremaine Edmonds. They just extended Jalen Johnson. They signed a few players. They just signed another center. They're going to get Caleb Williams. They added DeAndre Swift. They added Kevin Byard. It's a team that usually when you're picking a number one and you're taking a quarterback in a draft, you expect to walk into a situation where the team isn't good. When Caleb Williams will get there and he'll be the number one overall pick, the team he's walking into is a really good team with a lot of really good players. So we all know about Green Bay. We all know about Detroit. I think Chicago is sneakily starting to build something over there. And once the quarterback comes in with that rookie quarterback contract, I think that's a team that can make some interesting noise.
Sure could.
Hey, Ari, dumb question, but does the lack of interest in Justin Fields at all in Chicago, could that potentially change the course of what the Bears are going to do? I mean, can you imagine, trading back one spot, acquiring, who knows? Maybe you could fleece Washington. Maybe you could fleece New England, Minnesota, the Giants, some team that wants a quarterback. Keep Justin Fields, take Marvin Harrison, and have a bunch of picks after that as well.
Yeah, I mean, we all know the quarterback position is the most important position, and the Bears have done extensive research dating back for a few months now on Caleb Williams. They've told their scouts, if you see anyone who's USC-related, ask about Caleb Williams. You see somebody Oklahoma-related, ask about Caleb Williams. They interviewed Cliff Kingsbury for their OC job, and the primary questions were all about Caleb Williams. They've done all the work they could possibly do with him, interviewed him for the first time in person at the Combine. They still need to bring him in for a 30 visit. And in fact, they actually tried to bring him in before free agency started, and just the two schedules didn't line up. But they've been doing all the work you could think of when it comes to Caleb Williams. So I think they're just pretty much locked in on him at this point. I understand kind of where you're coming from. But at the end of the day, I feel like most people, I would say over 95% of teams, have Caleb Williams as QB1 in this draft. So I don't know what the reasoning is behind nobody really wanting Justin Fields. This was the same scenario with Justin when he came into the league. If you remember, people thought it would be Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields in this draft, and all of a sudden it became Lawrence, Wilson, Lance, and who's going to take Justin Fields, and the Bears had to trade up for him. So for whatever reason, people around the league have not been high on him. But I do know people are very high on Caleb Williams. The Bears are very high on him, and I think that's the direction they're going to go in.
Talking to Ari Meirov, covers the NFL for the 33rd team on X at My Sports Update. I wanted to ask you about Kansas City as well, because we've seen them in this offseason sign Chris Jones. What about L'Jarius Sneed? What's the talk out there with any trade movement? I know the Lions, I've heard their name associated with him in a trade before, but signing two guys already, or acquiring Carlton Davis from the Bucks and signing Amik Robertson from the Raiders, I would think that they're out on L'Jarius Sneed. I don't know. What's the latest with Sneed and the Chiefs?
Yeah, so the talk at the Combine was once the Chris Jones deal gets done, they were confident it would get done, that they would, trade L'Jarius Sneed after tagging him, and they gave permission for his agents to seek a trade. The three teams at the time that I heard would be very interested were the Lions, like you said, and then the Colts and the Titans were the other two. And it was my understanding that a second-round pick would be the sweet spot to get it done. Now, when it comes to doing these type of trades, you really have to have three parties agree on this. You have to satisfy the Chiefs with a pick. You would have to satisfy L'Jarius Sneed with a contract, and the team that is acquiring him would also have to be okay with the contract and the picks they're giving up. So a lot of moving parts when it comes to all of this. I would imagine the Lions are out. I do think the Titans and Colts are probably still in all of this, but the Chiefs' intention is to move him. They do believe they have a bunch of other young DBs, of course, McDuffie. They have Watson. They have a few other guys. They've been really good when it comes to drafting cornerbacks, so they feel confident they'll be able to continue doing that. But the belief has been a second-round pick would be enough. I think the harder thing is getting a contract done, and we just saw, Jalen Johnson and the Bears. It took them over a year to get a contract done. These cornerback contracts have gotten a little bit tricky because the market hasn't reset in almost a year and a half with Jair Alexander's deal, and for whatever reason, teams don't want to go over that. So I think that is part of the issue over here, is where you got to do a contract and the picks, and that's been part of the holdup so far. But like I said, the Chiefs would like to trade him, but you got to get all sides to agree.
I want to ask you a quick question about two guys that didn't sign back with Detroit, and that's one, Jonah Jackson, who signed 3 years, $51 million with the Rams, and then CJ GJ went back home to Philly, 3 years, $33. Both those players were very pivotal, at least Jonah Jackson was, for the Detroit Lions on the offensive line to the tune of 1 yard extra per carry when he was in there. Do you believe that not being able to sign those two hurts the Detroit Lions? Because CJ GJ is a guy that we think here maybe provide that energy spark, and then you saw what that line was when Jonah was on it. Is that something that could come back to bite Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell?
Well, I want to see what they do the rest of the offseason. Obviously, they brought back Glasgow, and then when it comes to the safety position, I mean, we've talked about it really since before free agency started. There are so many safeties who are out there that there is going to be some value signings at some really, really good players who could still pay. So I understand why Brad was like, you know what, we loved Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, but 3 over 27 with max of 33 is just too rich for us.
Yeah.
I get it. It makes sense. Look at how many other guys who are still available. So I think they'll let this market play out, because eventually they're going to be, like we always say, it's a supply and demand situation. There's way too many safeties and not that many teams who need all these safeties. So eventually there's going to be some guys out there who Detroit could sign for far cheaper, and they'll be fine. And then when it comes to the guard position, I think a lot of people have mocked the Lions getting an offensive lineman. This is an offensive lineman-rich draft as well. And as we said, they re-signed Graham Glasgow. So I understand why it hurts a little bit to lose Jonah Jackson. He's somebody that you guys drafted. I know it was before Brad, but somebody who was a Pro Bowler. But I think they'll be just fine with both those guys leaving. I'm not as concerned as maybe some people might be when it comes to those two.
Hey, Ari, last one from me. I'm sorry, Bray, were you going to say something?
No, you're good. No, I was
going to ask you about these rule changes that have been thrown out there. How many of them you think will stick? There's one for an onside kick. You could get the ball back on the 20. It's like a 4th and 20 type of thing. I don't know what that is. Someone wants to add tenths of a second to the clock in the last minute of the game. What can you tell us about these kind of rule changes, possibilities?
Yeah, every year there are a bunch of proposals that are made by teams to change rules, to fix some stuff. And I've gone to the owners' meetings the last several years. In order to get a rule change to actually pass, it is such a headache. You need to get 24 teams to approve of it, 24 owners to approve of it, and they have to go into a room and discuss. And to get everyone to say yes, it just feels like, and I've heard that it is a headache. So some of these probably won't get passed. The one that I could see getting passed is one that the trade deadline right now is after week 8. There's been a few teams that have proposed moving it to after week 9 or even after week 10.
Yeah.
And the reason for the proposal is when the NFL expanded to 17 games in 18 weeks, the trade deadline stayed the same way when it was 16 games in 17 weeks. Like, why didn't that move also? So it makes a lot of sense, and I think because of it, it would create way more action during the season with the trade deadline because more teams will know, are we in or are we out? Because the trade deadline is right now, there's teams who are 4-4, 5-4, 4-5. It's like, maybe we could still make a run. If you move it over to after week 10, I think more teams will know, all right, maybe we should sell off some of these pieces and maybe we should be more aggressive getting some of these guys. So I think that is one that could definitely change, and I think the NFL wants it because they love when there's, free agency frenzy, trade action. This is what they want. So that's one that I could see happening next month when the owners meet in Orlando.
They got to fix the kickoff, man. The kickoff is useless. Onside kick is useless. They got to fix those things. They got to.
That is another thing that I think will happen. They will change the kickoff where to make it more of it not being useless. There's been a couple of proposals. That is one that is high on their list. The kickoffs and also the hip drop tackles are two things they do want to work on, and I think those two are far more serious than the shot clock that you mentioned or the 4th and 15 or 4th and 20 onside kick.
You got it, Ari. Ari Meirov,
Thank you.
From the 33rd team, covers the NFL for them, and of course, one of our favorite guests. We really appreciate your time, Ari. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Thanks for making it work. I'm sorry we couldn't do it on video, but I'm sure we'll be next time.
We love you, man. Thanks for sticking with us.
Thank you for making it work. Yeah. Absolutely. You could have told us to buzz off. Yeah. Thanks, Ari.
See you, Ari.
Appreciate it. Ari Meirov, again, you could follow one of the best NFL Twitter feeds that you can have on X, at My Sports Update on X, and of course covers the NFL for the 33rd team. And look, X. He mentioned DJ Reader for the Lions. We don't know. We haven't heard much. Right. Is he in the building? Did he leave? I would have to imagine if you're in the building with Dan Campbell and Brett Holmes, you're not leaving without a contract. Yeah. I would think that. But maybe the Lions, and again, he did have an injury at the end of the season. Maybe they're kicking the tires on seeing if he would be available next year early on. We don't know. We talked to Dan Miller yesterday, and it's a two-way street. Just because they're bringing a guy in doesn't mean they're absolutely going to offer him a contract. We just don't know. They want to put eyes on him.
We don't know, but at the same time, it's Detroit. Detroit is very meticulous about the guys they bring in, the guys that they sign, the guys that they keep. They want them to be guys. And the fact that he even has an interview with Detroit, the fact that he was even in the building, I think that speaks volumes. One of it, yes, and I agree with Dan. Take nothing away from Dan Miller said. Part of it is you want to get him in, you want to see the specialists, you want to see the trainers, you want to see the staff so they can kind of see where he is, see where he's at with his body. But they want him in the building because they want him.
Absolutely.
If they want him in the building because they want him to be a member of the Detroit Lions. So
there's no doubt.
Yeah, 100%. So keep an eye on it. They don't mince words. They don't mince visits. So keep an eye on it. He's in the building for a reason. I think they don't leave. They don't allow him to leave.
First of all, are you guys proud of me? I didn't ask a JJ question.
No, you're good, man. Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Okay, very good.
I am proud of you.
I got a text from Easy last night, by the way. Easy, and you can listen to Easy.
What did Easy say?
5 to 7 live or anytime.
He congratulated you, I bet.
He did.
Yep.
Easy gave me some love.
Yeah.
He texted me last night. He said, hey, you got to find the clip months ago when you said JJ was going number 1. You got to find the clip.
The kid knows his ball.
Everybody thought you were crazy. If he goes 3, that's a win.
It's a huge win.
That's a win if he goes 3.
That buys you out of the Malik Willis forever.
I think it does.
It does. Now, me, I'm still stuck with him.
You're in
I'm
the swamp.
still stuck with him.
You're in the swamp.
I got the Malik Willis still.
Absolutely.
So there you go.
Absolutely.
It's so funny though, like Ryan, like not to blow smoke, not to continue to pat you on the back, but you have a lot of really good takes.
Like Hutchinson will have more votes than 100%. Kenneth Walker.
The Lions, in terms of what their record would have been 2 years ago, in terms of what the Lions were
10 wins for the Lions, where they had 9.
What the Lions
Michigan winning the championship.
Michigan beating Ohio State.
We both had
the first time.
Yeah, you had that one. Oh, the first season, you said Michigan was going to go 11-1. They were going to lose to Michigan State. They're going to beat Ohio State. I was like, that's particular, and it happened. So you got a lot of good ones. This JJ will be the one, though. Like, it takes 3 years in the business, right, to get going and get the rep. I think this JJ will be the one that has a tide turn, and you'll start with a clean rep.
I think the Pistons takes are good for you, too. You call 3 huge wins for the Pistons. Out of the blue.
3
out of the blue. Like they were losing 28 in a row. You're like, it's a win tonight. And they won. You also said, how bad would it be if the Red Wings go in the tank and fall out of contention?
They haven't won since.
They have not won since.
They have not won since.
They have not won since.
I knew, and I actually shout out to Big D Energy. I just ran into Neil Rue and Darren McCarty. But I talked to D-Mac. I said, you guys lost to the Coyotes, and this is when in
a high school building.
Exactly. Like Mac's obviously 4-time Stanley Cup. He's a legend. Love Mac. Like when you piss a legend off, like you're effing up around here. Cause he was like, I had to go at Kane and I had to go at DeBrink and tell him they're just not playing good. Like, he's pissed.
Oh my god!
He's hot. That Phoenix Coyote. Excuse me. They changed their name. That Arizona Coyote game. It pissed a lot of real Red Wings fans off. And it
just move him to Quebec. Yeah. Get the hell out of there. It's a failed experiment.
I cannot wait until the New York Giants trade up to take J.J. McCarthy.
Now, did you hear Ari? He says they're still going to roll with Daniel Jones.
Dimes.
We read the other day that they were cutting bait with them.
Doesn't Minnesota have to trade up to get a quarterback?
I'm telling you, they're getting one too. I thought J.J. was going to them.
He's not going to be on the board at 11. There's no way J.J. McCarthy's on the board at 11. There's no way. Somebody trades up after getting those two guys.
It's going to be very interesting.
It is. I can't wait for the draft.
I wish the Lions had a top 10 pick, though.
This free agency stuff is great, but there's nothing to me like the draft. There's nothing like the draft.
The Super Bowl. It is. It's the Super Bowl of Detroit, right?
It is
Used
fantastic.
to be.
Used to be, right?
All right, guys, break time. We'll come back. We'll go around the NFL. We'll do that next. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. That's right. Les Stanford has all 4 brands of General Motors. What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford has done by adding the Les Stanford Buick GMC. That's right, located in Ferndale in Ferndale on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. And of course, if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn, where they have been on Michigan Avenue for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want. All 4 GM brands now under one umbrella. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Together, let's drive.
Let's drive.
Yeah, and then after you get your brand new car from Les Stanford, you can get some brand new sports wearables from Woodward Shop. That's right. Are you tired of wearing the same old Detroit sports merch? It's a new era in sports wearables, new designs, amazing apparel, and the ultimate swag. Check out the Let's F Ingo Red Wings pullover there. It's a brand new one. And you can check out the latest gear at woodwardsports.com and click on shop.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for 2 things. Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Big Boy Seafood Fest is sailing in with a fresh catch of favorites. Dive into fish and chips, our new palm-crusted cod, perfectly fried clam shrimp platter, or a delicious fish sandwich. Try our new mango iced tea, the ultimate complement to our popcorn shrimp, our all-new fried pickles, shrimp alfredo, or shrimp stir-fry. Experience all the sea has to offer every Friday night with our all-you-can-eat seafood buffet. Every day is a fish fry, only at Big Boy.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Well, folks, I have some good news and bad news. The bad news is insurance rates are going up across the board in Michigan. The good news is that Swiss Insurance is here to help. Right now, more than ever, it's critical for you to have your insurance reviewed. Swiss will make sure your carrier does not slip in extra fees or raise deductibles. Call Mark at Swiss Insurance today or visit SwissINS.com and tell them that Woodward Sports sent you. Over to Rye Guy, who looks good with a new haircut.
Absolutely. Walk into any Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and enter for your chance to win the $50K Perfect Bracket Challenge. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's open 7 days a week. You could walk in anytime. Lady Jane's. It's wicked awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at that. Want to thank Noah in the back who put this together. Braylon Edwards is nominated for the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame. We would love it if everybody could take a minute. Pete will put the link in the chat.
I will.
It is attached to all of our Twitter accounts, I believe, as well. You got to vote.
Give him a 10.
So Braylon can go in. Give Braylon a 10.
Yeah.
That would be absolutely fantastic,
Pause
Braylon
on
Edwards.
that,
Pause.
Pause on that.
Pause on the 10?
I'm not taking no 10s.
Oh, man.
It was just a joke. Friendly joke.
I got to increase my humor level a little bit.
A little bit.
We got a Braylon top 10 list as well. We'll get that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But first, want to go around the NFL, some news and notes.
Yes,
Tom
sir.
Mazaway.
Yesterday, it seemed Calvin Ridley was going to stay with Jacksonville, and there was another team involved as well. But it wasn't the Tennessee Titans. And the Tennessee Titans went out and trumped everyone and threw 4 years and $92 million at Calvin Ridley. This is the same team that told Antonio Brown to take a walk when they traded him 2 years ago on draft night to the Philadelphia Eagles. He wanted 4 years, $100 million back then. And he was 26. This guy's 29. Bray, what did they do wrong here?
Look, man, stupid teams do stupid things. Like at the same time, like, look, A.J. Brown was a monster 3 years ago. We knew that. They didn't want to sign him. They let him go, and look at the year he had with the Philadelphia Eagles. And then look at how we doubled down in the first 8 games of last year. But they wanted to get Treylon Burks. How's that working out for you? The same team that went out and paid Ryan Tannehill. Same team that let Kevin Byard go. Same team that just got rid of Mike Vrabel. Same team that did all of those things, just signed Calvin Ridley, a guy that, look, he came back last year. It does take a year to get going. This is a guy that I wanted for the Detroit Lions, but not 4 years, $92 million. Not at all. Not at all what I paid for him. Dumb teams, they do dumb things, and they stay at the bottom. And look, and I love this franchise. Y'all know my dad played for the Oilers. You know he goes back every week to the Oilers-Titans reunion. But with that said, they're idiots because ain't no way in hell I'm signing Calvin Ridley 4 years, $92 million.
Will Levis has a guy to throw to now. Will Levis has a backup now, too. They signed Mason Rudolph as well.
Yeah, I thought in Mason Rudolph's side, look, you made the mistake by not signing A.J. Brown or keeping A.J. Brown. You made the mistake, but you got to get some wide receiver, and he was the beneficiary of being the best wide receiver in the free agent market. Available, to get paid. And
but do you overspend on that? Like 4 years?
Maybe you probably did, but you had to make sure you got a player.
Like that's
too. It's ridiculous. The happiest guy about this is
Amon-Ra St. Brown, 100%.
If you're paying him $23, what are you paying me?
It's $23 million a year. Like this, what is going on?
Got me.
$23 million a year for 1,000
What's
yards.
Jefferson gonna get?
And 8 touchdowns. Lord have mercy. They've been talking about him trying to go to the Bengals, but
that ain't gonna happen.
I know. Just bringing it up
but
to blow smoke.
But again,
that's nuts.
You have
$33 million.
You have to get a receiver, and kudos to the Titans in this respect. You do have a pretty decent, what you believe is a franchise quarterback in Will Levis. Whether we think so or not,
I like him.
Whether we think he's a franchise quarterback or not, you at least have to give him a chance.
I will, but I'll tell you something else dumb they did. They signed Tony Pollard. Guess who Tony Pollard is? He's the same running back that they already have in Tajay Spears. Out of Tulane. They wouldn't sign him for $8 million. They're just throwing money at the wrong things, in my opinion.
All right, we got the Bengals. Thinking about them. Sure. DJ Reader's in here. He's a former Bengal. So the Bengals went out and got a replacement for him already, and they got a pass rusher in Sheldon Rankin. 2 years, $26 million. So he gets $13 a year to rush the passer for Cincy.
Yeah, he's more of a pass rush guy on the outside. But, I mean, look, same thing. They got rid of DJ Reader is a defensive tackle. Maybe they're more worried about those quad tears than the Detroit Lions are because he's torn both of them. Shocking. Detroit Lions want somebody that's injured yet again. But he's torn both quads.
He's on the cheap.
That is an interesting thing. He's definitely on the cheap, but is it somebody that you want? Because as Mike Tannenbaum always tells us, when you get hurt, it's only a matter of time before you get hurt again. So they may want to let that one go.
Yeah, I mean, Cincinnati feels like, I know they were your sexy Super Bowl pick last year. Cincinnati feels like a team that a lot of people are sleeping on. I like Cincinnati. T. Higgins.
Joe Burrow got hurt.
Yeah, T. Higgins has requested a trade. I don't know if that's going to work out, but if he is out there on the open market, I think there's a number of teams out there would be willing.
You get 23, 20.
No.
$25 million.
If Calvin really, thank you, Ryan. If Calvin's getting 23, T. Higgins is around 26 to 27.
Well, did you see what the Colts paid Michael Pittman?
Yeah, he got franchised.
Michael Pittman, they gave him a new contract, 3 years, $70 million.
And he's done what?
$70 million for Michael Pittman to stay with Indianapolis.
I'm not a hater. At the end of the day, the price is supposed to go up. The price has gone up. I'm not a hater. There's only 2 people I hate on, and you know who those 2 people are. One played for the Lions and then went to the Giants. That was our boy. Kenny Galladay.
Oh my gosh! Well, I mean, look,
that'd be the only time I ever was like, what? Like any other, even the Christian Kirk. I'm like, hey, kudos to you. But Kenny Galladay, man, I was like, come on, I need to put my cleats back on.
Right. There's no doubt about it. So I don't know. That Kenny Galladay, I think, rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Everyone.
And that was one of the smart things that the Detroit Lions actually did.
Agreed.
I think they knew exactly what they were giving up when they let him walk. And this is a player that wasn't even in the league last year. Braylon, how does that work when you have a guy so talented that, you show something so significant in one respect, but in the other respect, you're not even in the league at a certain point. How does that happen?
This is how it happens. The first thing is, look at Kenny Galladay's pattern. Look at chart him in college, the schools he went to, the small schools he went to, the JUCO that he went to. Then he eventually goes to Northern Illinois, I do believe. Got to the Lions, hard-working guy under Golden Tate, under Marvin Jones. He's busting his butt to try to make the team, try to make the squad, starts making plays. All of this in this time, Ryan, you're working hard. You're not taking no for an answer. You got to go the long route, so you're working hard and hard and hard. You're putting in the time. You're putting in the effort. You're getting better. You're getting better. You're getting better. Then along the way, you start to have some success. He had success with the Detroit Lions, even think he had a 1,000-yard year. And now someone tells you, you're good. Now someone tells you you're going to make an alternate in the Pro Bowl. Now you don't work as hard. Now you believe you have arrived. Now you don't put the same film study time in, Ryan. And then you get lucky. You're talking about right place, right time. He was in the right place, right time in 2020 or 2021 because the Giants was like, hey, we need a wide receiver. You seem to fit the bill. We'll give you $20 million a year. Right place, right time. And now, Ryan, you really think you've arrived. You got $20 million and you haven't done anything. You fleeced the system. Now you're really not working hard. Now you're not catching 100, 200 passes a day in the offseason. Now you're not running. Now you're not working out. Now you get lazy. Now the game passes you by. People see that you're not working. And then when the team gets rid of you, after 2 years of $20 million and 1 touchdown, everybody else can see the writing on the wall. He don't work. He don't put in the time. He's not somebody we want around our players. And now you're sitting at home trying to find yourself a new team. People see it. It happens all the time. When you stop lacking that motivation and you stop working, come a shell of yourself and it's over.
I'm going to put you on the spot here, and I know I'm going down a wiggly road here, but it's just an interesting conversation to me because for a guy that, grew up your whole life, you wish you could play professional sports, what about players? How many of those guys, and is there a guy that jumps out to you that had all the talent in the world but just couldn't put it together and was out of the league? Or you see a player sitting next to you in the locker room and he's so freaking talented, and his talent has gotten him through college, has gotten him drafted into the NFL, has put him in a position to play a role on an NFL squad, and you just see him, and he doesn't love the game. He doesn't put the work in and doesn't take care of himself, and before you know it, that guy is fizzled out and is out of the league. How many of those guys are out there percentage-wise on an NFL team, 1? And 2, is there a player that jumps out at you? And that's me putting you on the spot a little bit. If you're not comfortable answering that question, that's fine. But how many of those guys are out there?
Been on the spot my whole life. One player that jumps out at me is Vernon Gosling. Vernon Gosling is actually homegrown.
Michigan State guy, Detroit guy.
Detroit Cash Tech. Vernon Gosling knows his family, great dude. But got drafted 5th overall to the New York Jets, man. And he had been escaping off the look. Like, he looked like Tarzan from the time he was probably like 9 years old. I mean, like, he was swole, huge, paws, like he's just a big guy that people were scared of. It worked for him in Ohio State. It worked for him at Cass Tech. When you come into the NFL, Marion, you got to put that work in. This guy didn't put the work in, didn't watch the film, didn't try to evolve as a player. And, it sucks, but, it didn't work out for him, and he didn't last long in the NFL. I don't think there's a ton of guys like that anymore because you have to work. Like, guys are coming in, I think more than ever, guys are coming in from the collegiate level ready to take your job. Like, back in the day, like, you were in NFL, you were, 3-4 year guy, you were cool. You had some time, you can buy some time, you had some experience, you had some one-ups on these guys that were coming out of college. They had to grow. Not now. Like, guys are coming in out of college, 1, 2, 3 years because of all the high school programs and the 12-year-old programs and then the work, the NIL. I mean, college football is professional football now. So when guys are coming out, they ready to rock and roll. And so I think now you won't see it as much because guys are trying to get paid. And you can get to the bag faster nowadays. 3 years, get paid. You can come back 3 more years and get paid again. So I don't think you'll see it as much anymore. But that's how it used to happen. Once you make that money, cats get unmotivated, and they just get lazy.
It is wild. Joe Flacco, by the way, continuing on with NFL news, Joe Flacco moves from Cleveland to Indianapolis. He signs a 1-year, $8.7 million deal to join the Colts and be Anthony Richardson's backup. I think this is a really, really solid move for the Indianapolis Colts, who nearly were a 4th down conversion away from winning their division last year with Gardner Minshew at quarterback. I think Joe Flacco can give this quarterback room a lot of stability, and I know Anthony Richardson is their guy, the very highly touted quarterback that they drafted number 4 overall from the University of Florida last year. He looked tremendous early on in the season before going out with a season-ending injury, and then there was a quarterback shuffle. Gardner Minshew really did a nice job for that team, but couldn't convert a 4th down and short against the Houston Texans on the final Sunday of the NFL season. So they lose out on the division and a playoff spot by doing that. But I think when you put a veteran like Flacco, a guy that's won the Super Bowl, in a room with a player like Anthony Richardson, I think that is a tremendous move. And I think, if you're a Lions fan, I think that's what you wanted for so many years when Matthew Stafford was here. Give me a veteran backup to play behind a young Matthew Stafford, and that's what winning organizations do.
Yeah, 100%. I think the first thing you look at, Anthony Richardson, you got a guy that you bought in out of Florida. This guy has all the athletic talent. He's raw. He has the arm. He has the energy. He's great at the podium. He's great when he talks. I probably think he's a really good teammate. Heard nothing but good things about him. But he's still raw. He's still trying to figure it out. Last year he was supposed to start, tears his ACL in the preseason, I believe. If not, it was game 1. Tears his ACL. You want to have some stability, and you look at a guy like Joe Flacco who can come in, like you said, help that room. Look, he is a Super Bowl MVP quarterback. He has won a Super Bowl. He has won MVP. You saw it last year. He was sitting at home raking leaves, Ryan. The man was sitting at home raking leaves. They called him in, and what does he do? He gets the Cleveland Browns into the playoffs, gets them into a playoff game, and wins, I think 10 wins or 11 wins or whatever. Still has it. He still has the mind. He's still sharp. You want somebody that to work with a young quarterback because you want Anthony Richardson to have a guy in the room that's been there before. But they have a guy that hasn't just been there. He's been at the highest level. I mean, he's a Super Bowl winner and Super Bowl MVP. So this bodes well for them. And 8.5, if it doesn't work out with A-Rich, if A-Rich is just not it, you can put him in there because you still have a good defense and you still have some weapons on offense. You still can get to the playoffs. That's a very smart move by the coach.
All right, we are going to take a break, and when we come back, we hope to have a surprise for you. I'm not going to put it out there, but we hope to have a surprise for you. In the meantime, we've also got a Braylon Top 10 list. So much to get to, so much fun to have. So we'll take a break now, but first, a message from Pete Spivak.
All right, gentlemen and ladies, what happens when you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house? It tells the bad guys and Maz one thing.
Stay out!
That's right. It's a new year. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring, and technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and by people who have been proven to care. Call 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
That's right. Call them today and tell them Woodward Sports sent you. And Bray, if I may get your attention, my man, can you tell folks where they can possibly win $50K?
Yeah, you can win $50K if you scan this QR code on your screen right now. It is the Woodward Sports Bracket Challenge, the $50K Bracket Challenge, sponsored by Soroki's and Glorious. Look, all you got to do is scan that QR code. You don't even have to watch the tournament. Nobody's watching the tournament anyway, but they're trying to win that $50,000. So go ahead, fill your bracket out. You know what? Fill 2 brackets out. It doesn't matter. Scan that QR code, though. You scan it, you fill it out, you get your chance to win. And also, Soroki's is a part of it, so you may want to get some chicken while you're watching that bracket.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for 2 things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Big Boy Seafood Fest is sailing in with a fresh catch of favorites. Dive into fish and chips, our new palm-crusted cod, perfectly fried clam shrimp platter, or a delicious fish sandwich. Try our new mango iced tea, the ultimate complement to our popcorn shrimp, our all-new fried pickles, shrimp alfredo, or shrimp stir-fry. Experience all the sea has to offer every Friday night with our all-you-can-eat seafood buffet. Every day is a fish fry, only at Big Boy.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard.
Corner, jumper,
Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Fitness is the home of the judgment-free zone, which means you can come in, work out not for free. It's only $10 a month, but you can come out judgment-free. That's right. Get a chance to work out at your own pace. Also, your fitness is essential. Spring is coming up, and after spring, summer follows. So you want to have that summertime fine body. Also, you want to work out in a clean place. Not just any clean place. Planet Fitness is a squeaky clean gym. Bring yourself on down to Planet Fitness. $10 a month. That's all it costs to get in shape, look buff like your boy Be Easy. You see what it is. Planet Fitness did that. Your fitness is essential.
And Braylon Edwards, it is a Thursday, and that can only mean one thing. It is a Top 10 Thursday. Top 10 Thursday. What do we got today, Bray?
Yo, we got a really good one today, man. I'm excited about this one.
Oh, thanks. There it is.
Hold on, Pete. Hold on, Pete. You got to set it up. Jeez Louise.
What's happening in there, Pete? Pick him up, Pete.
Well, don't be trying to do a lot of things at once. Relax. That's never a good answer. I forgot we've talked so much about the free agency, Ryan Ermanni, and we talked about what moves could get a team over the hump. Did Chris Jones get you a Super Bowl? Is it Danielle Hunter can get you Super Bowl? Is it taking on the Jerry Sneeze trade and then giving him a contract? Who's the free agent that can get you over the hump? Well, this, in my estimation, in the modern Super Bowl era, these are the best free agent moves made in the NFL. I thought we can go 10-6 and 5-1, but put them all up there, Pete.
We're just going 10-1, baby.
Let's go 10-1.
Jam it in there.
So you guys 100%. All right, here we go. Starting at 10, Curtis Martin. Now, Ryan did not win the Super Bowl, but 3,000-yard seasons he had with the Patriots. He reunites with Bill Parcells in 1998, and guess what he does? 7 more 1,000 yards a year.
Hall of Famer, no?
Yes, he does. That's one of my really big mentors. It's a person that I can call for anything. He's in the Hall of Fame. HOF 10 straight seasons with 1,000 yards or more. Only one other player did that, and he wore the Honolulu blue and silver.
Barry Sanders, man.
Number 9, Chris Carter. Leaves Philadelphia in 1990. Dick Vermeil told Chris Carter, I love you, but you're too into the other stuff, too into the off-the-field things. This is me saving your career. Chris Carter was addicted to drugs. Dick Vermeil fires him. He never touched drugs or alcohol again. Goes into the Minnesota Vikings. 8 straight Pro Bowl seasons, including 1996. He led the NFL, and he was always right there in touchdowns.
All he does is catch touchdowns.
That's all he does.
Catch touchdowns.
Hey, I'll tell you like this, in arguably the greatest hands in NFL history.
Soft hands.
Well, he caught everything.
Pause.
He caught everything. Hey, look now, no pause. He caught it all. Number 8, this one's for Maz. Maz, tell me about John Riggins. Because he started off with your New York Jets, but then he rumbled his way to Washington. With a Mohawk. Didn't last too long with the Jets. Got to the Washington Redskins, now the Commanders. Won a Super Bowl and had one of the greatest playoff games of all time. Number 7, told you he's my favorite of all time. It's Charles Woodson. Left the Oakland Raiders. He gets to the Packers first season. 8 interceptions, ran back 2 of those for touchdowns. In 2009, he won Defensive Player of the Year.
Didn't he win a Super Bowl with the Packers
in 2010?
Yeah.
100% he
won the
did.
Super Bowl with the Packers.
He did. And in his 7 seasons with the Packers, 38 interceptions. Let that sit in. And he also did win the Super Bowl. Number 6, Deion Sanders. Free agency pickup. You talking about picking up.
Which time?
This is the 49ers time. Signs a 1-year deal, 49ers, 94. What does he do? 8 interceptions, ran back 3 for touchdowns, wins Defensive Player of the Year, and they win the Super Bowl. That was one of my favorite teams of all time. In fact, I think it is my favorite team of all time. The lefty, Steve Young. And also he's primetime. Number 5, this is recently, Tom Brady.
Yep.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers picked Tom Brady up after we thought the career is over. He retires. He's no longer with Belichick. Is it Belichick? Is it Tom Brady? Well, they won a Super Bowl first year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so I think it was Tom Brady, not Bill Belichick. One of the best free agent acquisitions of all time. Sticking with the quarterback position at number 4, it's the St. Louis Rams. Now the Los Angeles Rams. St. Louis Rams, they pick up Kurt Corner out of a Arena League. Arena League football, they sign him free agent, and guess what they do? They go on to become the greatest show on turf.
One, man.
The greatest show on turf.
It's an interesting one.
You made me watch that movie, The American Underdog, American Story. It was good.
It was a cute movie.
I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked it.
It was a cute movie. It was exactly as you thought it would be.
Yeah, it was great, but corny, like a corny great.
It was.
But I enjoyed
movie.
it.
Right.
Dennis Quaid plays Dick Vermeil.
Corny but good.
I enjoyed it. Number 3, sticking with the quarterback position, Drew Brees. Drew Brees played with the Los Angeles Chargers. A lot of people forget that. Actually played well for the San Diego Chargers then.
Matt Millen should have signed him.
Messed his shoulder up, and then that's when he leaves, signs to the Saints and Sean Payton, and the rest is history. Super Bowl champs, I want to say in 2011. 2011, don't quote me on that. I could be wrong too.
Either way.
Yeah, 2000, but you see, and he was number 2 in all most statistical categories, only behind Tom Brady. Number 2, the 3rd place guy in all the statistical quarterback categories, Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning with the Broncos. They pick him up after Jim Irsay says it's a wrap. He'll never play again. He's not a good quarterback. His neck is messed up. He goes out there first year, breaks every quarterback record, 55 touchdowns, 5,425 yards passing. They get to a Super Bowl. They got waxed. They got waxed by Seattle, but they got to the Super Bowl. Eventually they will win the Super Bowl. Him and Brock Osweiler kind of split that time, but they got a Super Bowl. Isn't that the name of the game?
That's the name of the game, Braylon Edwards. Super
and then another
Bowl.
guy that left the Philadelphia Eagles in the early 90s, Reggie White, also known as the Minister of Defense, already had a Hall of Fame career when he left Philly, 68.5 sacks. He goes to the Packers, and what does they do? They win a Super Bowl in 1996. It's crazy. Desmond is that Super Bowl MVP, Ryan, but Reggie White had 3 sacks in that game. Sounds a little bit like that Rams Super Bowl I got screwed on by Aaron Donald over Cooper Kupp. But it is what it is. But you notice what everybody has in common. Like these, I think these are the best.
It's a great list.
I think these are the best free agent signings of all time. But with the exception of two guys who are 10-9, everybody won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like that's the name of the game. That's what you're trying to do when you sign $31 million to this player or $30 million or $28 million and these ridiculous contracts. You're thinking that player is going to be the piece that puts you over. That's what they're advertised as, and I think all these guys, Riggins, Woodson, Sanders, Brady, Warner, Breeze, Manning, White, all Super Bowls, and some in the first year, Ryan. So
there's a couple of good ones. Can I give some honorable mention ones?
Yeah, go ahead.
One, I would have added Deion Sanders twice.
Oh,
to the Cowboys.
To the Cowboys, he won another one.
He won another one with the Cowboys. So he did a lot of winning. I would add Deion Sanders. I think when you look at what Baltimore did in the late '90s, early 2000s with Rod Woodson and Shannon Sharp. Those two players
Super Bowls.
were really those were great players And that's really the only two I would add. I mean,
those were great.
I don't really remember Jerry Rice in Oakland, like what impact he had in Oakland for the Raiders.
First team All-Pro in 2000, in 2003, first team All-Pro. He took over for Tim Brown. Tim Brown was just on the team at that point. But the only thing about that, Ryan, I agree with you. Like, those are major signings. Ryan Woodson's arguably the best complete secondary player of all time. Him and Ronnie Lott probably go back and forth, and Charles Woodson, and put him in that category. But the guys you're talking about, they added value to the team. These guys were either offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, Super Bowl MVP. Like, they were the top, the elite. Shannon Sharp had an amazing, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a co-star. You know what I'm saying? Like a co-star type player. These players are MVP. Like, Tom Brady threw 5,200 yards in that Super Bowl campaign. I mean, Peyton Manning, what he did for the Broncos, he brought them back along with Von Miller. But, yeah, these are some good ones there.
All right. Good stuff, Braylon. Hey, feel free to agree or disagree with the top 10 list. Have some fun with it, as some people are in our WoodwardSports.com YouTube chat. We appreciate those comments. Hey, coming up next, we're going to be joined by our good friend from he's just the greatest guy in the world, the Michigan Sports and Spine Center. Our WSN Injury Insider will be joined by Dr. Pierce next. But first, a message from Pete Spivak.
Well, yeah, it's going to be Tom here. Hang on. Give me a quick second. Give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Maz, just counting.
Come here.
Come here, Maz. Come on and read something, Maz. Come on, Maz.
Just tell people where to get stuff.
Premier Pet Supply. You know that. Michigan's best pet store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food at the lowest prices available, curbside delivery, and they have nutritionists on site. Just give them a call. Check them out online right now, PremierPetSupply.com.
Every year after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for two things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Sports Network, Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway, and we have our good friend, Dr. Jeff Pierce from the Michigan Sports and Spine Center with us in studio right now. Dr. Pierce, how are you, sir?
Good, how are you?
Doing great, feeling like $1 million.
So
I was telling these guys the other day, I got one of those IV hydration things the other day.
Love it. Promote it.
A little B12, little vitamins in there, a little energy, and I felt like $1 million.
So you were down last week?
Oh, I was down big time.
So you did this because you were down, or?
Well, I did this because I haven't felt good in a month, and I ended up having COVID, and I was on the tail end. I was feeling good, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. Enough people have talked about it. Where
you heard me. I was upset you didn't call for a referral or a consult. Spending all this quality time with you.
I know.
Feeling like chopped liver.
What did you get today? What do you got going on over there? I see a Band-Aid over
they told me I got to keep it on for an hour or so.
What's going on? What'd you get? We talked about this a couple of weeks ago.
Right. So it's exosomes. I talk about regenerative medicine. I talk about biologics. We talk about all this stuff that, Michigan Sports and Spine, we try to be a little bit more cutting edge. We're always on top of the curve of the treatment. And what better way to promote it than do it myself? So I had an IV push today, and I feel, to be honest, you're not supposed to have any feelings for like a week or so, but you may get like this initial rush. And I feel like, like how sometimes you feel like there's a cloud over your head type of thing, like you're just not clear.
Yeah.
Like things are a lot clearer. I mean, it's like it's only been. I had done it 2:30.
Really?
Oh yeah, an hour later.
Don't be coming in here lying about stuff, trying to make it gas everybody. Explain this. Like, why do you feel so different?
Because one, I'm here with you guys.
Okay.
I always
Thank you. That's right. Thank you.
That's always a jump in my Thursday.
But what does it make you feel like? Like, what is it like once it kicks in?
I don't know, because I'm an hour in. But to be honest, driving here, the clarity of what I was seeing was better.
Okay.
They say it helps with everything. So just to back it up a little bit, to understand what I did, it's called exosomes. FDA's fighting with what do we want to do to put it out there. It's being done very cosmetically, no big deal. We're doing it in the joints, but now we're starting to do it IV. So IV is always obviously the most effective way to do certain things. So what it is, the way to describe it to the viewers, is that it's like a messenger. It's the messenger of the blood system. So if you look at the red blood cells, like we have all these cells in our body, it enhances and creates better messaging. So what I had, which is probably, we want to say is the best in the country or best in the nation right now, is that we have day 0. So it's being taken from what we call Wharton's jelly. We talked a little bit about it. So as the baby's born, there's the placenta and all the leftover cells that are in that placenta. We're not throwing it away anymore because it's so valuable. So these are considered day 0 cells. So when you think about it, we think about it from a physiological standpoint. When a baby's born, right, it's amazing what the body actually does to form a baby. It's all these cells. So it's not, we talk about stem cells. I've talked about stem cells for a long time. These are now the messengers which are telling the stem cells what to do. So we still have it as we grow, but when you look at a baby, first of all, you've formed a baby by all these crazy cells that we're just starting to understand. And the reason we're starting to understand it is because of the microscope. We can start seeing these things. It's at a nanometer. So what the heck is a nanometer? A nanometer is 1/100th of a hair follicle. I don't know if I'm getting too technical right now.
No, I'm fascinated, actually, to be honest with you.
So it's seeing things. You're seeing millions and millions of these cells. So just think of like millions of troops just going to work.
Yeah.
And they're building kidneys, and they're building eyeballs, and they're building, like that's the baby. But when you think about a baby, the most aggressive growth is in the first year of life. It's because all these cells are working. And where are all these cells found? They were found left over in the placenta. So the placenta is your pathway, your home, what you live in as a baby. So now we're taking these cells and injecting in some old guy, meaning me, and we have it's like new energy. It's like you have those new cells, those brand new cells that are working instead of my old cells that are working on it day to day and saying, screw you, we're done. We've already done these things.
You've been a doctor for a long time, obviously. How much have you seen the growth in medical advancement? I mean,
good question.
I feel like as a doctor, as a consumer, let me start there. As a consumer, I feel like technology makes my head spin so fast. It's just moving so fast. I feel like I have a hard time keeping up. As a doctor, when you are inundated with all of these advancements in your profession, how do you go about that? You know, whether you're an athlete and you're trying to get an athlete back on the field quicker, if you're trying to just get a regular person back up and moving quicker, what are you seeing as far as just how quickly medical advancements, like even something like you just got an IV in your arm today?
I mean, it is. The advancements are crazy. The technology is crazy. The information's coming. The way you share, like you had institutes in Oxford, you know, over the pond, and here at Mayo Clinic and all that. And these guys were all working individually. Now everybody's consolidating. They have all that knowledge. And just the microscope, the technology to look and see what it is. Like I just gave a lecture to a large group of therapists a couple weeks ago. And I started the lecture with, how arrogant were we that we thought just plain blood, like blood was the only way to circulate, and your spine was the only way, the nervous system, that's how we track. Like when you think about how much is going on within this, well, I keep saying a nanometer, but it's so much is going on within your system. I mean, what device self-heals, promotes, grows hair, you know, reproduces people, you can spit, you can, you know, what we can do, like the way I'm talking with my hands, you know, the body's just amazing. And for us to understand it, we still haven't tipped anything of the iceberg yet. The brain, we don't even know how the brain works. We're working with.
Don't we only use like 10% of our brain anyway?
Some I wish they could use 10% of their brain.
I heard that was a myth.
It's not a myth.
I heard the 10% thing was a myth.
There's a small percentage of the brain that we're actually utilizing.
You can tap into certain parts of the brain like more than when you're using that part. You just can't use the whole brain at the same time. Correct?
The brain development, like if you develop a child, just think about the simplicity of learning a language, right? Us in America are the dumbest people as far as languages, right? We know one language for the most part. You start talking to people that know 4 or 5 different languages, do you realize how much more development their brain is handling to be able to switch back and forth? I mean, just the development of the brain just for language is we're utilizing more parts of our brain to do that, to be able to switch back and forth.
Doc, we got breaking news while you're here, Ryan. You want to break that for me?
Yes. Here we go. We got it. Breaking news. Veteran defensive tackle DJ Reader has agreed to a 2-year deal with the Detroit Lions. How about that? That is from Tom Pelissero, Ian Rappaport, and Mike Garofalo. So there you go. You've got your man, DJ Reader, to the Detroit Lions on a 2-year deal. We believed once they got him in the building, Braylon, this was a situation they were not going to let him leave. Dr. Pierce, let me come to you. Perfect guy to be sitting in that chair. Look,
on the spot of breaking news.
On the spot of breaking news. He had an injured quad. He was out at the end of last year. How long, and again, we don't know the intricate details of this particular quad injury. In general, is there a way to share with the people what recovery from a quad injury looks like, how long it takes? Carted off the field at the end of last year. You know, what will that recovery look like for DJ Reader?
I mean, pretty much, first of all, where is the quad? Does everybody understand where the quad is?
Let the people know. Right knee?
We'll get Braylon's quads out because they're the biggest ones.
Quad
in the room.
is under the hip flexor before the VMO that leads you to the knee.
Okay, can we simplify that, please? It's from the hip to the knee on the front part of your leg.
There you go.
As opposed to your hamstring, which is on the back. But this is someone who's been working with a lot of muscle and understanding it. Basically, it's the biggest muscle. It's one of the most powerful muscles in the body. And when you start talking about, we need to know where it was torn. If it's a mid-belly tear, we don't worry so much because that's going to heal. You're going to get the healing. You're going to get what we call hypertrophy. You'll get thickening of the muscle around it. If there's a complete tear, then that muscle is going to be gone. It's going to atrophy away, but everything else thickens around it, and you create that strength. Usually with alignment and things of his nature, where he's got to be powerful for short periods of time, he should be able to overcome. Like I said before, I mean, if this guy's injured, you said he injured his opposite leg prior. He's recovered to that. Hopefully you should see nothing. He should have a full recovery and be as powerful as ever, because I would think this guy's in a new 2-year contract. He's going to work harder. He's probably been working hard in the offseason because he knew his contract was up. So I think this guy should have no issues. This isn't like an ACL or a shoulder injury. This is a big quad muscle that you should be able to compensate for fairly easily and shouldn't lose any step if he's committed to playing the game.
Pretty great stuff, Braylon. I mean,
I love it. I think we're jaded here. I feel like guys have come to Detroit Lions, have been injured, and they've gotten injured again. Emmanuel Mosley is probably the biggest sign of it, yet they signed him again. I think you got to start looking at some things. The Cincinnati Bengals, they don't sign DJ Reader back, but yet and still, they go out getting Sheldon Rankins to replace him and pay him 2 years, $26 million. So although I'm excited to have DJ Reader because I think there's a lot of upside there, I think this is a very meticulous move by Brad Holmes in terms of doing your homework, seeing the ability when he's out there on the field. But I'm just a little cautious. I understand that he'll be better, Doc. But here we are again with another injured player. It just seems like that is the way. And I trust Brad Holmes. I made a whole spiel.
There you go.
I made a whole spiel about trusting Brad Holmes over the last 2 days, but this is one thing. The injured player thing is the one that sticks in my craw. And I wish every player that it seems like we pick up, they have something. They've been injured, I don't mind you missing 3 games. Ryan made a great point yesterday. You get to 14 games, I think that's now going to be considered normal. It's going to be like the NBA. Like if you can make it to 66 games, hell, you played the whole season in the NBA. 60, realistically. So 14 is fine. When you start getting these guys that are missing 12 and 13 and 14 games, that's when my antennas start to perk up.
So Tom Pelissero, Ian Rappaport, Mike Garofalo break the news. DJ Reader to Detroit on a 2-year deal. Jordan Schultz from Bleacher Report says that deal is 2 years up to $27.25 million. So that is the first person I've seen out here give a financial commitment from the Detroit Lions. All the other NFL reporters have said just 2 years, no money yet. Jordan Schultz, Bleacher Report, covers the NFL for them, says up to $27.25 million. What a day for you to be here, Doc. Thanks so much, my friend. Great stuff. We're going to take a break. We'll come back, close it out next. But first, nothing. We'll be right back. We're going to take a break. We'll recap the news of the day. DJ Reader to Detroit. We'll do it next.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Funny, nowadays, I saw the tweet from Tom Pelissero.
But you had to check.
I looked.
Yes.
the blue check mark wasn't even enough anymore.
Right, don't mean anything.
I spelled out Pelisaro's name, and then I looked at the amount of followers he had.
All you do is like put the arrow up on Tom's name, and it'll pop up
And then it was
if
like-
it's the real one or not.
And then I was like, okay,
Yes.
this is Tom Pelissero.
Yes, it's not the New York porch. The New York porch.
How many times the New York porch has burned Tom Mazaway? And, but Maz, I'll give you a chance to comment on the pretty big news,
Wow.
huge news.
That's great,
Huge
man.
news.
And Easy texted me right away. He's
Yeah.
like running around in his house, jumping up and down. He's screaming. I can't wait for the heavyweights to come on and rap about their fellow heavyweight joining the Lions. Hey, it's another edition. You heard Dr. Pierce. He feels that the quad will heal. The other one healed. Let's hope he's right. And let's hope that you said it was $27 million to the max. That means they're probably giving him 12 a year. I would say $24 million for 2 years. And then you know how they had all those escalator bonuses. They always tell you this is what you can make up to. So that's the most they've spent on somebody in a while. So, for a 2-year deal.
I would say technically Carlton Davis is getting 14.5 for one, but to your point in the 2-year deal, it is. Look, at the end of the day, I just hope he's healthy. If he stays healthy, this is a damn good pickup for them. He'll be alongside Aleem McNeil, 2 guys in the middle. You put those 2 big guys in the middle. Justin Houston comes back this season. Hopefully he can be shades of what he was 2 years ago. And then Aiden Hudson taking that year 3 leap. They keep adding depth. I think that's what you're seeing out of Detroit Lions, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They're adding depth. They're letting you know we are addressing the issues that we had. Look, there's some good moves, and maybe not done. Stephon Gilmore's another one that they may add. They have the money for sure to add that. So, like we said yesterday, just gotta relax, sit back. You gotta let the mad scientist does what he do.
And let's be honest for a second. Isn't it nice to have a couple of guys where, hey, all you need to do is get here. If you're in the building, you ain't leaving.
Yeah, we said
you know
that.
What I mean, you ain't leaving. You get around these guys for 30 seconds. You're like, yeah, this is where I want to be. Yep, I'm good. Get the deal done.
Amen.
Get the deal done.
I love it. And the word's on this, the word's out, man.
Yep.
The word's out. This place, it ain't what it used to be.
No.
This is a place where you want to come and grow. They got the draft this year, just in 41 days away, and sky's the limit after that.
Well, this used to be the place where the players used to win and then came here to get
money.
their payday. Now it's they come here to win. They're all prove-it deals. They're all on probably could get way more on the open market somewhere else, but they want to be here. So we'll see what it is. Great stuff today. Great stuff, Tom Mazaway. I know you were working hard there the last half of the show.
Pete as well. Thank you.
And Pete as well.
We couldn't get our surprise on, but we will.
Yeah, we will.
We will.
Yep.
Braylon, that top 10 of yours, I was in the back listening to it. I wanted to
So
jump
fun.
out and scream at a few of them. I loved them.
Appreciate it,
Loved
man.
them. And the 2 you brought up, Ryan, excellent.
Yeah, they
so
are.
fun.
I wish you were sitting right there when we
I
did
know.
it. Hell of a chat.
I had something on every one of them.
Everybody's
I'm sure
working
you do.
hard. Everybody's working hard.
Football's the best.
Isn't it, though?
Oh, the best. Let me see what's going on tonight. We got the Red Wings going on tonight. Can they snap that 6-game losing streak? They're playing let's make it here. Pick a side, Ryan.
I can't.
Are they going to win tonight against the Coyotes?
I only guarantee
You
guarantee
gotta
that
feel it.
of which I know.
All right,
And
you gotta
I just
feel
don't know. I got a feeling. I'm not going to stir anybody the wrong way. I'm just not going to do it.
Oh, Mads, here's something for you. I know we didn't get a chance to say it. Your favorite player. Happy birthday, Steph
Curry, 36 years
It's
young.
your favorite player,
today.
man. Happy
My
birthday,
favorite player
Steph.
of all time.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
And that's something.
Great for the NBA.
Yeah, he is.
Sad that he's getting up there in age.
Man, where did he go?
I know.
It's like just yesterday. I know it sounds like an old guy thing. Maybe
Davidson, right here, right in Detroit.
100%, 2009.
Yeah.
Look at
2009.
Hey, what else were I say? Congrats to the Pistons last night. We said that, but
3
Jalen
and 4.
Duren. Jalen Duren's the real deal,
Real
boys.
deal.
Yeah.
Real deal. Like, he's an elite company with the double-double that he threw out, 24 and 23 rebounds. This guy, man, they got some talent on this team.
Jalen Duren, we talked about it. He's a guy, like, when he was playing, when he was healthy, looked good. He was out for a very long time. He looked bad. Now he's back in there, man. Now that he's in there, Jaden Ivey getting some sense of who he is and what he means to the team. Kay Cunningham, we already knew what he
How
could
about
do.
my guy James Wiseman starting to play?
How about Wiseman?
Look at Wiseman.
I love Wiseman.
Hey, you know what?
Wiseman.
He didn't. Hey, what did Geno Smith say? He said they wrote me off, but I didn't subscribe.
There you go.
Maybe that's James Wiseman.
I hope so. I hope so.
Great stuff. Bray, get us out of here, my friend.
Hell of a show, man. We love being here. We love rocking with you, rocking with the best. Ermanni and Edwards. Nobody does it better than the man Maz over there. Mike, we appreciate you. Pete, appreciate you as well. And the chat, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you guys for joining us. Appreciate you guys for learning, watching.
Vote for Braylon.
Oh, yeah, and do the
Tens.
thing in the background.
Needs tens.
All tens.
All
Michigan
tens.
Sports Hall of Fame. MSMSHOF.com.
Fool me once, can't get shit. Shame on you, can't fool me again. We'll see you guys later, man. We love you. We're out. Whose headphones?
I don't know.
Are these yours, Mike? Mike? These are sticks.